Recording?
Yeah.
Alright, Romo said he's ready.
So this is actually number 6.
Don't burn yourself, Wade.
Yeah, watch out, fool.
Yeah, put it there.
Número 60.
I ain't gonna say that. I'll say 6-0.
Hey, do it.
6-0!
6-0. I don't know why.
Did you watch the TikTok of the dogs I sent you talking shit to each
Oh
other?
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's like it sounds like.
Hey, what's your name? Hey, fuck you.
Fuck you, Tommy.
I wonder what the original thing is of that. Like, did they act it out? They probably acted it out, right? Somebody.
Oh yeah, they probably voiced it over.
Alright, so this is
Why you
episode
behind me?
16. This is the Serial Killer Podcast.
No, it's not.
No.
You're right. This is not the Serial Killer.
Some people just got real excited.
What is
they
this
heard
about?
that. They're like,
What is this about?
time periods that we could survive best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we think we can survive.
Yeah,
this.
we think we can survive it.
Alright,
because we are pampered.
I guess the people got a sneak peek of what one of the episodes.
Yeah,
gonna
that
be about.
was
Yeah.
promo. That
Oh,
was
promo.
trying to hook 'em in.
Yeah.
What time periods do we think that we can survive in? Man, there's a lot of different ones. But if I could choose one, it'd be in probably Rome.
During what time period?
Let's give it the
height.
after the Punic War, after they destroyed Carthage. It's more of like expansion time for Rome.
Man, he's talking about he basically talking about going to play with the Bulls when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and everybody was there.
Right.
He's talking about I would live
Just
in
hopping
Rome.
in
I
and
would-
just leave it
I
up.
would love to live in
Yeah,
Rome
yeah.
when they were the
Fuck
most
a bunch of-
powerful, when everyone
Right.
feared them and shit. This motherfucker.
He said best chance of survival. Look,
I mean, of course you're gonna survive.
hell yeah.
You're gonna be living in a villa with all these bitches around you and shit.
All right, but see, we it's talking about like being born and raised there, or just being dropped in there from this time period. Because then you also gotta look like them, right? Because otherwise they're like, who the fuck is this guy?
You can pass as a
Yeah,
Roman.
oh, probably could. I'll probably pass as a Viking too. I can fit right in being a Viking.
I don't
I'm
think.
too little to be a Viking, but I would love to be in
the
that time
tenacity
period.
I got, I'd fit right
He's
in.
like, I'm a Viking from the other side of the world.
What's it?
I haven't eaten in days.
I'm a pygmy Viking.
Right. I mean, I'm sure I get strong just working for them and shit.
I'd be crafty.
Yeah.
These are all mighty bold predictions he's making for you never gotta back this shit up.
So the Rome one is easy. Why you want to go there? Because you can hook up. I think. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I think the women weren't as attractive back then as they are now.
Oh, bro, I
think
think
so.
women were attractive in every fucking
Yeah.
era.
But have you seen the paintings?
I mean,
those
those are paintings,
yeah,
bro.
bro.
Those were when
Like-
drawing skills just got started, huh?
That's when the
Well,
Nah,
they-
they've
they-
been drawing since the cave.
They weren't doing shading back in the day like they're doing it now, bro. All girls they looked ugly. There's no lighting in these pictures.
They spent a lot of. No, you could. I mean, you know what? You're right. Because like the statues and stuff. I mean, they weren't ugly. And then I bet.
Are you saying you fuck with those statues?
Nah.
That's what it sounds
But
like.
I bet like if that's that's probably like the time, like, all right, you know how there's like a supposed standard at this time, but that standard isn't necessarily what we're attracted to.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing like back
Well, you
then.
gotta think about
So
it.
what the paintings and the statues is not necessarily what, but there would still be
Yeah, I
attractive
mean,
people.
it's subjective. You know, some dudes like chubby women, some dudes like skinny women.
I just mean their faces. Like I think we evolved differently.
Oh, well, I
You
guess.
know, like they were closer to prime. Like
You trying to say we look more Neanderthal back then, maybe?
yeah, but
Everybody-
maybe not at Roman time. though.
Everybody looked more alike.
Yeah, that was probably like in the
There probably
medieval
was.
times, right?
Well, this is my predict. This is only an inference. Maybe there was less diversity back then, so everybody would have looked more the same. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every
I mean,
Rome-
depending on where you're at, because if you're in like the main center of Rome, that's like their market center. So
There's
you
a
have,
lot of people,
They
right?
have like a different.
It's like New
I didn't
York.
know he was gonna debate me in this podcast.
I'm
He's
just
not-
saying,
he's
like,
not supposed to
I
speak
think
up.
back in the day was.
It just depends on where you're at, though. He's not saying that you're wrong.
I guess I'm.
I feel like the more smaller towns, the more non-cultured,
More pronounced.
but more like in the city centers and stuff. I think there would be more culture because you got so much marketing, you got so many people coming in and out of the harbor of the cities and whatnot,
Yeah,
trading, the market, all different types of things that were going on at that time.
from all over the world.
Mhm. You also got to think that during that time there was really not much war, except for maybe expansions and conquest.
Not in the.
I'm talking about in my period when I'm talking about.
You're talking about Rome not having a period of war?
Not a major one.
Okay.
Well, not in Rome,
no,
right?
no, there is even this. Rome had a thing where they would close their gates, right, or whatever, only when they were not at war. Yeah, they would open their gates when they were not at war. Go look it up. Their gates were only open like a handful of times. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're at war. Oh, because they could also be invaded, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
they
was
were
so
the
close.
invaders. They were fucking
Right.
everybody, subjecting everybody, bro.
So was everybody like trying to get back at them? Well, they just like.
You know, he. This is the period where they were still loyal. They were still getting their asses whooped. They hadn't risen up yet. He wants to die when they start rising up. Like, oh, now it's getting too hard.
When like that's when you'll be old and shit, and you're like, there's a good Roman life.
He's like, oh, I guess I'm going to the new land.
Alright, I guess we'll talk about somebody else's fucking, those
No, that's
stories.
good. I mean, I
We're
respect
gonna
it,
shit
bro.
on his story too.
Man.
I respect it.
What time period do you think you would survive?
I think I would die pretty much if I would like.
Every-
I would like to go to the West for a little bit.
the West,
Like
Wild
Vikings.
Wild West.
Yeah.
Wait, Vikings
Vikings. I would like to go with the Vikings for a while.
West.
Well, first I go to
Norway.
Huh?
Norway.
Nah, I was talking about the West, like the Wild Wild West, like the United States.
Why'd you say Vikings?
And then I would go to the Vikings.
Oh,
I would die in each place.
what are you, Assassin's Creed over here?
And then, but I don't know.
I would die. You're picking two very. I'm gonna go be a cowboy, and I'm gonna go over
No,
here.
because like
I'm gonna be
I'm
a
just
cowboy.
trying to-
I'm gonna be a Viking. He's like a little 8-year-old telling me what he wants to do, and I want to be a Viking. I don't want
I'm
to
gonna
be
be
a
a
cowboy.
knight.
I'm gonna go with King Arthur, bro.
Oh, hey, that'd be lit, right?
Bro.
Was that a good time period? No, there's always disease and shit.
There was dragons back then, fam. Fuck all that.
You think so?
Nah.
I mean, shit. You
I think dragons were comets that that was
I think dragons did exist, but it probably was like in between that
See, there he was.
time between like what dinosaurs and like Neanderthals.
You
and stuff
think
like
they
that.
were flying reptiles?
I think so.
All right, but look, there was like, all right, so China, Japan, England, they all talk about dragons, right? What if they were just like some leftover dinosaurs and shit, and they slayed them all, and then they just painted them and shit,
Damn.
But, I mean, that wouldn't be surprised when the Giants had to have fought something.
and they call them dragons.
They
with
had
their-
to give it peaceful. They had to fight nobody.
Man, fuck that.
Well, who are the giants?
Oh, well,
That's a good
that's another podcast, no.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Would you? I wouldn't survive with the giants.
I mean,
but
if
maybe.
if the evidence that has been unearthed around the world is true, the giants were like the people who used to live here on Earth, basically. They were everywhere.
But were they half breeds?
Oh,
Like how the Bible says?
What if they were? Remember that last podcast where we talked about those tall aliens, the pale white that landed here, and maybe that's what they're descended from. Remember in the Bible, in the Noah thing, the whole flood had to happen because the offspring of the Watchers and the women, human women, were eating all the fucking regular people, and they were giants. So yeah,
I bet Babylon was pretty lit.
Babylon was
You
like
like
Hollywood.
sacrifice.
It's like Hollywood. It was like the most
Right.
evil. It was like
Yeah.
I'll just go for a weekend, I
evil.
guess.
Where?
Bro, I mean, if
What
you
do you
like, he wants to go
To
for a
Babylon.
weekend.
I bet you back
I
then
want to be.
everybody
I just want to go to a couple of sacrifices that they have. You know
I'll
what
go
I'm
to
saying?
Rome with you.
I'll slit a motherfucker's throat and drink his blood. Yeah, hell ball, hell ball.
You think that's what they did? I bet you there's some cool people that are just like having cool parties and shit, just eating shrimp.
Having sex, no, yeah. See, you want to do all this bad shit. Don't say it's the devil. See, this is
Yeah.
the devil's playground. That's what it's
You're
not
right.
that bad. See, look at you. That's how they get you, bro.
You're
You
right.
say you go for a weekend, you stay there for the rest of your life.
Where was there like a peaceful time in history that I could go to?
The Renaissance.
Yeah.
600 years. Whoa.
There's a lot of pain and
I
love
will back this
happening.
up with facts. Go look at all the amazing shit that came up out of humanity. This was when the bankers were banned from Europe, by the way. So kiss my ass if you think I'm lying.
I could
When,
survive
the
that.
only time that bad shit happens when the bankers are around. That's when
when war
he
and
calls them the
drafts.
black hand. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bankers. So when they're around, bad shit happens. When they weren't around for those 600 years of Renaissance, things were very nice. You had the white, all those Michelangelo, so all these people who came out of this crazy wisdom.
They were able just to create.
Back
They were
then,
able to think.
that was their job, just to let me figure out what's going on, let me paint. That
It was
before
just time.
everyone had to toil, everyone had to do the whole, what England had. What do they call it? Usury or whatever, where you work on the land and this and that.
Fuck.
No,
Yeah, no, it's basically when
no.
everyone turned to slaves of the Lord of
Serfdom.
Yes,
serfdom.
Yes,
I even took a class with it.
yeah.
Serfdom was bad during that time, wasn't it?
Huh?
Serfdom was really bad during that time, wasn't it?
Band or bad?
Bad.
I don't know.
I think it's always been kind of bad.
I think we have to do a Renaissance episode sometime in the future. We gotta educate the people.
Yeah, I would survive there probably.
Because if you're gonna nitpick, I mean, the serfdom was probably fucking horrible at that time. Because if you were, a noble or whatever,
You just had to be lucky.
You had awesome education, and everything.
Yeah.
Else, but you were fucking poor. You had.
We'd have to be able to pick, right? Like if I was a Viking, I would like to have been like fucking like rag like a fucking king and shit with everything already set up.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Serfdom didn't exist until the bankers came around. That's the whole thing. No one had to work for anybody back in the day before that shit happened. There was no serfdom. That's why I said, when serfdom came, that pretty much ended the whole Renaissance.
I wonder if they're the ones that brought it to Japan too, because they had that kind of shit.
Well, they say it started in China. They say everything started in China. Everything started in China and just moves its way west. West.
Gunpowder.
Yeah, that's where it started. See, back then, they looked at it like it was magic. Like back then, oh my god, exploding, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just like,
any technology at some point is magic.
Remember when we talked about the aliens? They weren't aliens or gods. They're just motherfuckers with better technology than you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wouldn't survive at that time when they started making people like mine and shit when it first came out and shit. What about you?
Oh man, I don't think I would survive in any time period. I'll be straight up. I feel like this is the easiest one we've had.
It's the best one.
You literally, bro.
It's fucking the greatest.
Bro, you have the universe at the palm of your hand. You have like
free will to read whatever we want.
Yeah, you got
that hasn't always been
Netflix and Hulu and the internet, and you got takeout food. And bro, I mean, this is like, some people are like, that's just laziness, but that's also progress. Back then you had to go and hunt your fucking animal, go to a market somewhere. Now, fuck.
This is what our ancestors were working so hard so that we could have it a little easier.
Look at how we do. I mean, maybe this is what they want. They probably didn't want us to suffer. Just like if you have kids, you guys have kids. You don't want your kids to have to suffer and toil like you when they get older.
Bro,
hopefully.
We're back to another renaissance.
You think there's a renaissance?
Because now we can just sit here and talk and record and talk about our beliefs and think about other shit that's happened, and we can create.
I mean, it's starting to get pushed out the way that censorship is going now.
Yeah, there's always a resistance, right, to Renaissance behavior. There's always a resistance. The bankers, bro. Fucking monopoly man.
Is it? Is that? I don't know. You only.
That's the word. That's only.
So even though you didn't pick a time period, you just named a bunch of shit you wanted to be. I want to be a cowboy. I want to be a knight. I want to be a fucking
astronaut.
Yeah.
Oh, 60s.
Oh my god.
70s.
If you watch Mad Men,
80s.
shit was pretty shitty in the 60s, bro. Everything out of can.
I could have been assassinated.
The colors were shitty. Yeah, you couldn't speak your mind that much back in the 60s. Or do you think that's not true?
No.
He knows more about that period.
It depends on where you're at. I mean, if you're in
America.
Alabama, You're probably not. But if you're like
New
You
York,
can't probably
Philadelphia,
probably want to be
New
black
York.
either. You probably want to be black. Or
yeah, I guess that's anywhere, bro. Really, you can't. You gotta watch how you speak.
If you're black, any time in period other than this one, it's probably shitty. For the most part, you know what I'm saying?
unless you're like in Africa.
Nah, it's even shitty at that point. I mean,
there's got to be somewhere like some kind of.
I mean, look. Every culture, bro. It's like you've had shitty areas.
But Aboriginals, right? They all have.
I mean, they lived in Australia, didn't they?
No, but there's Aboriginals everywhere, right?
Oh, you mean the people who live there, the indigenous people that you mean?
Indigenous.
Yes, the people who originally lived in those lands. Like the Native Americans are quote unquote the indigenous here.
Indigenous, the original ones.
The Aborigines are the indigenous in Australia. New Zealand,
who are the indigenous like in Europe, like in Britain and stuff?
Oh. I would say the Norsemen.
The Anglos and the Saxons.
I think the Gauls, the
maybe
the
Gauls, hobbits,
the original hobbits. Yeah, because they find a lot of these type of
you do
like dome
you
structures. I posted them on my Instagram too. Sometimes is that there's these small little like cities or little towns or whatever, but they're tiny. Like
you
only
live there,
tall enough.
Yeah, you couldn't live there if you were like even 5 feet tall.
Yeah, and. I mean, you can look down in them and look and see, but what scientists are saying is like, no, these are the roofs that they put over. Like, you see the entrance, this is the entrance, this is the roof, this is how tall these people were. So, and you're finding them in Ireland, Scotland, all around that island, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a nation of hobbits.
So maybe the Aborigines from Europe are some hobbits and small little dudes.
Hashtag high historian.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, bro. See, that goes towards like all these things that like fantasy comes from reality, probably in a lot of ways. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the giants came from the mountain areas all around the world.
Shit, do to a bigger mountain area naturally.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were American type of giants compared to like Russian type, like in the Ural Mountains.
That's why Russians and those guys who body like the mountain from the Game of Thrones, that guy where he's from, they look like that on the regular, bro. They're huge.
The Mongolians.
They're pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all people who are up high in elevation.
I never seen Game of Thrones. You talking about
the giant buff dude from Game of Thrones called him out. He bodybuilds and does all that competition. He's huge.
Yeah.
You're not talking about Aquaman. He's big too, though. Naturally.
This guy is
bigger.
way. No, this guy is a giant. I mean, I wish I knew his name.
I was thinking about the wrong Aquaman.
I'm gonna show you a picture of him.
There's other Aquaman.
Probably the early day one, like 70s or 60s with the early Aquaman.
Nah, I'm talking about what's his name? He's also badass shows like during the.
But to clarify, I think any natives, like as far as like the Aborigines in Australia, even here in America,
they probably had like small.
They probably had like shitty times. Know what I'm saying? Like even in Africa, they say was it bad over there still? It's like it probably was still bad because you had fucking mountain lions, you had a bunch of shit that could kill you. Same thing in America.
Okay, there was like a period of Egypt where it was all lush.
Yeah.
Right? They were like rulers and shit. Oh, damn. That's his wife?
No, I don't know about his wife.
Damn.
I think that's one of the girls from the show.
And he set a deadlift record.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. So, but if you watch videos of him and shit, you notice all the people he lives with around his area.
Oh my god.
I don't look like him.
Bro, he's a giant.
Yeah, I don't know why. They missed out not putting this guy in the Viking show, but probably because he's already Game of Thrones. They're like, nah,
he would have been perfect for
I'm already in the night show. I can't be in the Viking show.
For the story of William the Conqueror and
yeah, because he's fucking huge.
Some of the
all you gotta do is do voiceovers. You know what I'm saying?
Some of the people from Game of Thrones are gonna be in the Eternals, I think.
I don't know what the fuck that is. Oh, it's still recording.
That's a Marvel thing. Where else would I? Where would you? Oh yeah, you already said.
I don't think so. I'm not so. I don't have the hubris to say.
Right, because this is the best fucking time.
Yeah, think about it.
It's a renaissance.
Bro, you wake up and your back hurts. You ain't gonna survive. You ain't gonna survive.
I get confused with another one.
What?
When is the Renaissance? Like what era?
Oh, fat guy.
16.
Here I go. Here I go again on my own. Let me see. Y'all keep talking. I'm looking this up first. I'm asking.
Adam at the Garden of Eden.
Oh, you want that?
I would survive there.
Oh my God, Chris! No, you can't have sex, lover, dude.
Nah, but I wouldn't know about it.
But what if Ethan? What if Lily?
I wouldn't do it, bro.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I would. I'd be Adam.
Bro, you broke him down like two times. No, you.
I thought about
it.
it.
Yeah, you're probably right. The Renaissance
That's
was.
supposed to happen, I guess. Though.
It began in Italy in the 14th century and reached its height. Okay, it was at the end of the Middle Ages, so it was at the end of
Oh fuck that era!
The plumbing was horrible. People stank.
No, you're thinking of Middle Ages. Renaissance is a little bit more cleanly.
The Renaissance was a fervent period of European cultural, artistic, and economic rebirth following the Middle Ages, generally described as taking place from the 14th to 17th century. The Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, and art.
Rediscovery.
Along with the centuries and centuries of wars, too. That was right. Shit.
Find me a war in that era.
It was rediscovered from when?
You had the 100 Years' War between France and England.
From like Plato and all that?
When was that?
Or Greece?
1530 to almost 1600. Oh, look. Yeah, 1337 to 1453. The War of the Roses, which I think is actually a major Black Hand move.
Do you know when the 14th century was? It was literally right after that, sir.
The Black Hand, you think
they
also had
the Wars of Religions, the 30 Years' War, the English Civil Wars.
Is this just him trying to prove that he has some kind of, like, he's kind of right?
Nah.
He's a high historian, man. He has to prove it. So they rediscovered it. From what time period do you think they
before the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, before when the church ruled everything, when no one could read, could write, when you weren't music was allowed.
So before that, where the people were enlightened.
Maybe. What was we?
Well, because for sure there's like Plato.
You ask you a lot of questions. Motherfucker ain't gonna do no research.
I know, right?
Where you got your phone too?
Well, I'm recording on my phone. It's gonna be like.
Oh, your phone is not like a. I can't.
What are you trying to ask?
I don't know.
He's trying to ask what was before the Dark Ages.
What was before the Dark Ages? It was the medieval ages, wasn't it?
I don't know. That's why he's.
No. My question is, all right. So.
Well, the Dark Ages. What do you think the Dark Ages is?
No, the Dark Ages were like people weren't allowed to like.
Well,
when the church ruled everything, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, you couldn't read, you couldn't write, you couldn't know no song. Music wasn't allowed in those periods. That's why.
Well, the Dark Ages is it's a medieval age. That's what it said. The Middle Age.
All right. So what's before that?
The reason that they had the Dark Ages was not because of that. It was because it was a lost time in history. Like, there's no recorded history at all at that point. It's just dark. But my theory is that was the time when Black Hammer started to conquer everything, trying to take over a lot of lands, and starting to establish its own type of history.
That's when they started like building castles everywhere and shit, right? Like forts and shit.
Mm-hmm. But that's what comes. 476 to 1450.
What was before that?
What's it?
Well, yeah, like
Classical era.
What can you just?
That's probably like.
What does it say that happened in that era? Does it say?
That's probably like Plato, Socrates,
I think that's how I asked last time. You guys know?
Donatello.
Usually one of the questions would be like, what happened in the classical era or whatever.
I can look that up.
But yeah, just basically, there you go. I mean, to quickly answer your question, it was called the classical era. So you have the Renaissance, and before that you had the Middle / Dark Ages, and before that you had what they call the classical era.
Classical. Which I should fucking know. I should know all
That's
this.
not right.
That's not it.
Google be wrong sometimes.
Not in music. Classical era. Classical era?
Hit that duckduckgo.com. Gucci.
Why is it called classical era? Click on it. That wasn't it either.
The way it sounds, I think I could live there.
Are we sure about this?
No, I think Google's fucking with me right now.
Alright,
We're on DuckDuckGo, but we'll do that in a minute.
Yeah.
What were you asking?
You think you can live in any other time periods besides at Rome? When they're at the peak of their power?
I mean, I guess that depends on what type of life I want to live. If I want to live, what is it? Long and wise, I'll probably try to be a senator in Greece or something.
Mm.
But if I want a short but glorious life, I'll try to attempt it. That's a good question on that. Probably try to attempt it during either the Punic Wars or during the wars in Gaul, or the Gallic Wars with Julius Caesar.
Mm.
During those, I don't know why, but I guess it's more.
Bro, there's probably so much like energy there. Like, you probably get high off the energy and just be ready to fight. Just being around it.
Alright, let me see.
If I wasn't afraid of heights, I probably would be. I probably would love to be an aviator pilot. I would love live in between that time frame between be able to fly between 1915 and like 1940. Like if I could fly in between those two eras, that'd be
Like a fighter pilot.
You know how the Middle Ages started?
How?
The fall of Rome.
What?
That was when they split.
Because look, despite the fact that Rome subjected everybody, they were the only thing protecting everybody too. So once Rome got fucked over and they had to go and they called all their generals back, England, all these other countries that they had conquered, they just left. They literally just left, bro. Like they were commanded to come save the motherland and come here now and just leave everything.
Right.
And so all the people who hated you and talk shit all of a sudden were like, wait, where are you going? Who's gonna protect us? Well, you said you hated us. You said things were better before the Romans got here. Good luck. And within decades, the Vikings taking over everything.
And they went from using stone, everything, all that knowledge was lost.
Yeah. And
bro, why did the Romans have so much knowledge?
They conquered it.
They
From
stole
everybody.
it. They probably stole that shit. They probably stole it from the Greeks.
And who the Greeks get from?
Athenians.
The
Yeah, that guy. Those guys. History is written by the victors.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Etruscans, whom they did conquer way back when they first started, it was like their first big victory. Like Michael Jordan beating the Cavs, that's how he got his fame. When Rome beat up on the Etruscans, that's when they became the main
They became the main star on the Italian peninsula. That's why I call it a little boot.
And what
for
this?
Italy. Then they got the mastery of the water because of the Carthaginians, which legend goes, is that a ship crashed on the shores of Italy, and these Italians found it, or these Romans found it, and they were able to. They took a prisoner from Carthage and told him to translate what was on this boat. And what the Carthaginians did was they were such great shipbuilders that they would write instructions on how to build the ship on the beams of the ships. So anybody could be in Carthage could be able to build a ship easy.
This is the same way that it said that we found alien technology and reversed it. We found a crashed alien ship, took it and reverse engineered it.
Right.
The Romans basically found a crashed the
ship trireme.
The Carthaginian ship.
They call them triremes.
And they reverse engineered it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Roman now. You know what I'm saying?
Quadremes or triremes, whatever they want to call them. The Greeks had their own type that was very, I guess, better. But the Carthaginians had a very massive and great navy. So even if they knew how to build them, they still had to figure out how to fight with them, which they didn't know how to do. So they knew one thing with the Romans, that they had a very great land army, knew how to fight hand-to-hand combat. They did not know how to fight in the damn water. So they decided, well, if the Carthaginians like to ram, like use their ships to ram other ships.
Is that what they did?
That's what they did.
Yeah,
that's
why
crazy.
that's why they were, you know.
They always had a beak type of structure at the point of the ship, so they can be able to pierce and sink the ships. Now what the Romans did was they waited for these fuckers to get close, and they built on these ships this giant ass spike that would just drop as soon as it hits the other ship. It's just gonna drop and trap them on there. So now they're just gonna start boarding them and fight them hand to hand combat. That's how they were able to win the
But then wouldn't both boats be fucked or no?
If they got, because you got to be.
Then they would take the Carthaginian one, right?
Yeah, they would just start using what they would call Marines at this time. Now they're called Marines, fighters that they had on these boats, and start invading on the other ships.
Right.
Start fighting them hand to hand, because the Carthaginians couldn't fight hand to hand combat like that. They weren't that great.
Mm-hmm.
They were good, but they weren't used to being able to fight like that.
So, why did Rome fall?
Why did Rome fall? A lot of internal shit. Black Hand really got in there, and kind of, in my opinion, corruption, and too far of expansion. You couldn't be able to control all of that.
They couldn't protect themselves. But who was attacking them that they had to recall everybody?
I had to go look at my notes. I couldn't give you a definitive answer right now.
Probably a lot of people, a lot of factions, people trying to get revenge and shit, I'm sure.
Because you got one part of history that'll tell you it was this group, but then it'd probably be another group backing them.
So when was Genghis Khan? Was that at a similar time?
When was that?
Did Genghis Khan ever come to the Romans? That's a good question. I don't know if those periods ever overlap.
No.
That is a high story question.
That is a high historic question, but I have to. There's a lot of notes that I took on that, so I gotta look at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't survive any of those.
Yeah, I'd be slave for sure.
Yeah, a jester.
You gotta be snitching quick.
You know,
just give me some food and
there's
water.
one area that I wouldn't care how quickly I would die or how quickly or how long I would live.
If we knew
But
that
if I
we would
could
like
live-
reincarnate.
No, but if I could live through this, I would be happy as hell. But that would be during the colonial time.
Me
the
too.
Revolution.
Me too. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be just like simple and.
I think that's probably the only time.
With
that I
motherfuckers
would-
like Robert Rogers walking around, hell no.
Hell yeah, I would. I don't give a shit.
I feel like I'd be a hero, but
I
I'm
would
thinking
die
highly of
for
myself.
this
You're just a simple farmer in your town, and England comes. Now you gotta.
Nah, to England, I'm just a peasant and a farmer. To America, I'm a Minuteman. I can go fight. I can pick up my rifle and go fight and be something.
Should I be a spy, bro?
I mean, that's easy to say.
That would be too good.
He was even hard for the little blonde dude to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Robert Townsend?
Nah, the dude from the Washington Spies, the main character.
Oh.
Blonde.
The little
He's
blonde guy,
talking-
the main character.
He's not blonde.
He's not blonde.
He's a brun. He has brown hair.
Yeah.
Really?
Abraham?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has brown hair.
Man, pull it up. Pull up a picture of Abraham from the show.
Yeah, that'd be a fun time to live, bro.
Abraham, Washington Spies. Oh yeah, is that it? Episode 60?
Yeah, that's 30 minutes.
Alright.
So basically, we surmise that this is the best time, and people need to start complaining so much, including myself. I love y'all.
Stop, fool, let me
And
do
let me
it.
just prove him right on
There you
mic.
Yeah, see, he's got brown hair.
Boom! I watched that shit so many times, bro.
See, he's right. Oh,
Shout out to Turn Washington Spies.
Oh yeah, that's what I saw. It's not called. It's called Turn. You're right. The
Turn.
book is called Washington Spies.
Yeah, the book is good too.
You read the book?
Yeah.
Does the book have less drama and more just facts?
Yep.
I think I might take the book out.
Yeah, the official book that it's based off of.
Yeah, skip all that fat. I don't like all that shit.
I like it.
I like my history, just history. You want to watch your dramatic history? I guess you, but that's not me. You know what I'm saying?
The boy had man, I wish he would have stayed with Anna, right? Anna.
Yo, motherfucker, I hadn't even gotten that far.
Oh, for real?
Spoiler
We should watch it. But anyway, that's episode 60. I can't believe we made it this far.
Yeah.
We made it in this era.
Peace to the next 60. And shout out to the Renaissance era, the new one.
The new.
The new one, this fool.
We rediscover.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.